From the studios of WWAY, it's the C.B. McGrath Show. The C.B. McGrath Show is brought to you by your Carolina Ford dealers, Papa John's, Adams Beverage, Harris Teeter, Coastal Beverage, and Reed's Jewelers. And now, here's your host, Mike Vaccaro.
Well, good morning. Welcome, everybody. Mike Vaccaro back here in the studio alongside the coach, C.B. McGrath. And back from the West Coast, we'll talk about some of those games a little bit later on, Coach. But I know it's nice to be back here in Wilmington and back on the East Coast time and everything that goes along with that as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we went out there, played a couple games on the West Coast, and we spent Thanksgiving out there. But it's always good to be back home in the friendly confines of Wilmington.
Well, again, a lot to talk about here this week because we've got 4 games to recap as we go all the way back to a couple Tuesdays ago. Emory and Henry in Trask Coliseum. As Coach, this kind of wrapped up the battle for the Capitol for you guys and taking on the Wasps in Trask Coliseum. This was a big offensive game for UNCW.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we got off to a hot start and made a bunch of shots. Kept creating open shots for each other, which was good to see. Played really unselfish. We had a ton of assists. I can't remember how many. It's so long ago, but you know, I just like to see the unselfish play. Defensively, I thought we did some good things. I thought we had a lot more activity, and they missed some shots. So, you know, we make shots, they miss some shots, and that was the ball game.
Yeah, it was a record-setting evening in Trask Coliseum as a team, individually as well for UNCW. Let's take a look now at our Harris Teeter highlights.
Double team comes, kicks it out to Phillips, to Taves. Taves 3 on the way, and we're tied at 5 as he knocks that in. Green, stutter dribble, gives to Linson. Linson lays it off the glass. His first 2 points of the night. Gets it to Boggs, and the Seahawks will have to set it up. No, Boggs will attack instead. Double clutch shot, banks it in from the left side. Left wing, 13 on the shot clock. He feeds Dodd. Dodd in traffic, layup off the glass, and it's good for Amaje Dodd.
Sorry, 6 threes.
Dolphy trying to make it 7, and he does in the left corner. That's been his spot. Phillips down low, Dodd one, much smaller Swan, and he dunks over him.
Well, you see the final score there, 122-66. UNCW had all the answers offensively, 70% shooting for the Seahawks. As Coach mentioned, the assists were high, 34 assists, leading to 47 made baskets in this game. And Coach, it was some perfect nights as well. Amaje Dodd, 9 for 9, 22 points. How about Brent Jenkins off the bench, 7 for 7, had 16 points. And then it was Mike Okaru, very first triple-double in school history with 12 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists as well. So a big night offensively for UNCW in this game against Emory and Henry.
Yeah, it was, and you know, obviously Brent coming off the bench, I got him quite a few minutes, and it was good to see his shots go in. He was attacking the basket and all those kinds of things. And but for Mike to get the first triple-double in UNCW history, I thought that's really impressive. You know, at halftime, I think he had 9 rebounds, he had 8 points and 6 assists. So I didn't know it was going to be the first triple-double in UNCW history, but I tracked it in the second half and sort of let him know the last time I put him in, he needed a couple of assists. And so he had a couple of turnovers trying to get those assists, but he eventually got the assists. You know, obviously we were all happy for him. It's quite an accomplishment, and you know, he can still play better. You know, that's a good thing. You know, he's starting to feel more comfortable. He's in his first year with us. He is a junior, but that was really fun to see. And obviously, you know, 34 assists, and everybody's happy for Brent. Everybody's happy for Amaje. Didn't miss a single basket, so when the shots go in, it looks a lot better, obviously.
Yeah, 60 points to the paint here in this game as well, feeding down low against not just Dodd, but Marty Linson, who's really playing well right now for UNCW. So the Seahawks, and it was a record-setting night as a team. 69 points at halftime was a record for points in a half for UNCW as well. So no problems here in this game for UNCW, 70% shooting, and they get the win over Emory and Henry, again scoring 122 points on the evening. We'll take a break here. When we get back, we'll talk about that West Coast swing for UNCW, games against Boise State and Stanford. That's straight ahead. Stay with us.
Let's talk about math. Fuel points math. For every dollar you spend at Harris Teeter, you get a fuel point. 100 fuel points equals 10 cents off per gallon. 200 fuel points equals 20 cents off per gallon. 1,000 fuel points equals $1 off per gallon on quality fuel. And if you're shopping at Harris Teeter with your Vic card, your fuel points are already adding up. Check the bottom of your receipt. Harris Teeter Fuel Points, an easy way to save on fuel.
See harristeeter.com for details.
Every time it's been way too long. A Corona gets its line. Every time you're not related, but you're definitely family. Every time you meet from across the party. Every time all of us is all we need. And every time your favorite place is more about who than where. A Corona.
Along the coast of North Carolina lies one of the best universities in the Southeast, the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. UNC Wilmington, giving flight to imagination.
Well, after that game at home against Emory and Henry, it was a quick turnaround for UNCW. On the road the next morning, heading out west, taking on Boise State and then Stanford. Coach, you knew you were going to Stanford, a return game there, and I know you were trying to get another game either out in California or heading out there. It became Boise State. How did that all kind of develop? And you're trying to get something going with this trip?
Well, you know, a lot of people play tournaments around Thanksgiving, so a lot of the California schools were in tournaments, and we couldn't make it work because Stanford could play on that Sunday, and so we had to try and find somebody on that Friday, you know, so we wouldn't miss much school. If we would have played Stanford on Sunday and somebody on Tuesday, we're missing that last week of school, and I didn't think that was the greatest thing to do. But you know, Boise, we knew they were going to be a good team. They had a lot of experience. They start 4 seniors and then a redshirt junior, so guys that have been there for a long time, guys that have played together. I'd never been to Boise in my life, never been to the state of Idaho, so I was just sort of excited, you know, new experience for me. I like to have the kids have a lot of different experiences throughout their time here at UNCW, and it was a pretty place, nice little downtown area. Had a good Thanksgiving dinner out there, and obviously did start off the game a little slow, but battled back and had chances in the second half to really keep it close, and then they just went on a little run and we couldn't counter it.
Now, you're talking about the youthfulness on this team. You're one of now just 7 teams in the country without a senior on this roster, and your most veteran player, Jay Estime, has been out with an injury as well. Yeah,
Jay's done for the year actually. He's going to have reconstructive surgery on his ACL. It was partially torn. They thought they weren't sure if it was going to be stable enough for him to get through it, and he decided that it's not. You know, so the other 2 juniors that had been playing for us were Michael Carew and John Bowen, and they both were transfers, so they haven't been in our program per se for the last couple of years. So our 2 oldest experienced guys are in their first couple months of the season with us. So yeah, it's different. Obviously, you know, a lot of teams around the country usually have a senior or 2. We do not. That's the position we're in. Obviously, you know, we don't feel sorry for ourselves. I like the youth. I like their exuberance. They're trying hard. You know, we just got to make sure that we keep coaching them, getting them on the same page, and getting them a little more consistent.
Yeah, so again, against Boise here, a little slow start for UNCW, obviously, but I think, again, you were doing some good things toward the end of this game. Unfortunately, the result wasn't what you wanted. 80-59, the final score there. The rebounds against a taller team, almost a wash. And you look at the field goal percentage. Again, a slow start, but you guys kind of picked it up in the second half against Boise.
Yeah, we got down 10-0 in the first, I guess, maybe 2-3 minutes of the game. Called timeout, just settled them down. You know, we knew we had been in the situation before at Davidson. We didn't fight back like I thought we could. I thought we did at Boise. It might have been like a 5-point deficit at half. And then, you know, with 12, 13 minutes to go in the game, we get an offensive rebound and just miss a dunk, and that would have given us the lead, actually. So we were down 1 with about maybe 12, 13 minutes to go. I can't remember the exact time. Right in there, if we could have made some shots after that, maybe put a little more pressure on the home team, but we just didn't get to work out.
So again, that was Friday night in Boise, Idaho. Spent 3 days there in Boise. Then a quick turnaround going to California, taking on Stanford on Sunday afternoon, California time. And again, Coach, unfortunately, it was a slow start here. It was 12-0 against Stanford. But then again, you guys recovered You finished the game knocking down 10 threes in this contest.
Yeah, we made some open looks. You know, we missed the open looks against Boise, and to start the game, we missed a layup, and then we had a turnover, and then we missed another shot inside. So you miss, you know, 2 out of your first 3 possessions, you don't score, and you miss layups. And then they scored. You know, if you're not making shots, you got to get stops on the other end. We just didn't, but we just kept battling, and you know, it was a quick turnaround. It was an early game out there. I think a 1 o'clock game, and you know, we had some flight delays the day before, which was unfortunate. Just a nonstop flight from Boise. The weather was nice in Boise. I guess it wasn't nice in San Francisco, so got delayed about 3.5 hours. So we didn't get in Palo Alto in the arena until later that night, knowing we had an early morning. So we tried to just cover their stuff, get used to the facility, and I think we did a nice job of that because we did knock down some open looks.
Yeah, 10 of 21 from three-point range in this game. Marty Linson, one of the leading scorers in the game with 12 points. Also, Jalen Sims with 12 in this contest as well. You see the final score, 72-54. Again, the rebounding edge very close in this contest. Did a good job assisting with those 14 assists. And I just thought, again, the start for them, it was their big guy, De Silva inside, and then Spencer Jones from the outside. Those two guys combined, and hey, they moved that ball around so quick. I thought you guys did as well as you could, kind of keeping pace, but when that ball doesn't touch the floor, going from one end to the other and back again, it's tough to defend that open three.
It is, and yeah, De Silva did a nice job, and we started trying to double down on him later in the game. And Jones, anytime he's been open so far this year, I think he was leading the Pac-12 in three-point field goal percentage, so he's 6'7", hard to really challenge his shot without sticking to him, but when you're doubling the post, you got to rotate around and try and get there as soon as you can. He made some shots that were crucial to sort of, you know, stall our comeback efforts. But, you know, De Silva had a really good game at the start, and obviously Marty, he's been playing really well. Even though they have been doubling down on him, he's done a nice job of making quick moves and or scoring right as soon as he catches it on the rolls before the double team gets to him.
Yeah, so again, Marty Linson's playing really well. Unfortunately, the Seahawks don't get the results they want out west, and then it was a red-eye home for UNCW. Then a week off before they took on Charlotte last night or yesterday afternoon in Trask Coliseum. We'll take a break. When we get back, we'll have highlights for that game, UNCW and the 49ers. First meeting since 1995 between these two in-state foes.
At Papa John's, when it comes to better ingredients, better pizza, we deliver. And now we're delivering extra value, too.
When the Seahawks win, you win. Get 50% off your online order the day after a Seahawks men's or women's victory with code Seahawks.
At Papa John's, when it comes to better ingredients, better pizza, we deliver. And now we're delivering extra value, too.
When the Seahawks win, you win. Get 50% off your online order the day after a Seahawks men's or women's victory with code Seahawks.
Whoa, that's crisp.
Crisp taste, brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light.
Whoa, that's crisp.
Crisp taste, brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light.
I buy gift cards to pay for all the music, videos, and TV shows I download. And when I do, I save on fuel. With Harris Teeter Fuel Points, I get 2 times the points for every gift card I buy. Spend $25 and get 50 fuel points. And my points are redeemable at any Harris Teeter Fuel Center or participating BP station. I can save up to $1 per gallon on quality fuel. It's money I'm going to spend anyway. Plus, I save at the pump. Harris Teeter Fuel Points. It's music to my ears.
Along the coast of North Carolina lies one of the best universities in the Southeast, the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. UNC Wilmington, giving flight to imagination.
Well, UNCW finally back home in Trask Coliseum yesterday afternoon, taking on UNC Charlotte. The 49ers in town. Coach, again, it hadn't been the first time since 1995 these two teams met, and it was a series you wanted to see renewed between UNCW and Charlotte.
Yeah, you know, it makes sense. 2 state schools, not that far apart. You know, I know Coach Sanchez. He was an assistant at Virginia for a long time, and I was assistant at North Carolina. And we want to try and get something put together. You know, you always struggle, where's it going to be first? You know, who needs the home game? Well, everybody wants home games first in those series, but they were able to come to us this year, and we got to return the trip next year. You know, and obviously we were excited about it. You know, I thought we had a couple great days of preparation practice-wise. I liked the pace of our offense that we were playing with. We were really getting after it defensively. It was nice to have Ty G back in practice full go. So with JSDMA out, that leaves us with 11 healthy bodies. So it was mostly a lot of 5-on-5 stuff, and was really excited for the game. I thought we'd play great, and just got off to another slow start, really slow. Just missed a lot of open looks, and they did a great job. It was a physical game on both ends, and the refs let it be physical, which is fine. You know, it wasn't like they were calling ticky-tacks and then letting it be physical. Ticky-tack and physical, it was physical. They were letting everything go. Charlotte did a better job adjusting to that, and they really did a nice job finishing strong at the rim.
You mentioned Coach Sanchez from Virginia, spent time with Tony Bennett, Virginia, and Washington State. That pack line defense, is that what you went up against? Is that kind of what kind of stalled you guys out there for a while?
A little bit. You know, obviously, you know, Virginia's really good at it, and obviously, you know, Charlotte's coming along. I just think we missed some shots at the basket where, you know, a lot of times our guys, maybe they were going to get the foul call, but they weren't. We weren't strong enough finishing where we got bumped, sort of dropped it out of our hands, didn't finish like we normally do at the rim. And then outside shots, you know, we missed 5, 6, 7 just really open looks. And if you knock 1 or 2 of them down, it gets you a little confident. I'm not saying you got to make all your open looks. I mean, no team does that. But the last time we were in Trask, we made a bunch of our open looks. Against Stanford, we made a bunch of our open looks from the outside. And just yesterday, we just didn't.
So it was a tough one yesterday inside Trask Coliseum. Let's take a look now at our Reed's Jewelers highlights.
Inside and Linson. Layup is good on the feed. Left corner, drives it, dishes it to Linson. Karu left side launches a 3, and it's good. Well, maybe a little momentum. Loses, lobs it near sideline. Phillips 3, it's good. And foul by Edwards. Lead is 20. Gaston 3 in the corner is all in. For Ty Gaston. Bank shot no good. Gets his miss. Throws it up and scores. I like it. Dodge physicals. Ahead to Boggs. Boggs looking for the dunk. Shot no good. Rebound. Put back for Dodd. He's fouled.
Look, unfortunately, not the result the Seahawks wanted to see. 76-57, Charlotte wins this game. But again, you saw some good things from Marty Linson, 17 points for him, 1 shy of his season high. And then Ty Gaston comes back. Coach, 11 points, 3 of 10, 3 of 7 from 3. So again, some rustiness for him, but 21 minutes of action for him. I'd say that's maybe the biggest number to me that jumps off the page to see him coming back from those surgeries and playing that much in his first outing.
Yeah, and I haven't talked to him today, and I'm assuming he's going to be pretty sore. But he was doing some nice things out there. Obviously, yes, he was a little rusty at the beginning, but everybody looked rusty. There's a lid on that basket for a while, and you know, we just couldn't get to go in. You know, we just weren't necessarily prepared for the physicality of Charlotte. And they've had some good wins this year. They beat Wake Forest, they beat Davidson, and so they've played really well at times. And then when they haven't played well, they haven't looked as good or as physical as they were yesterday. And so it's sort of hard to see it on tape until it comes to the game, and you realize how strong, how physical, and they really attack the lane. And so we just weren't ready for that attack necessarily mentally, and we just need to do a better job of getting ready for the next time.
Yeah, certainly played the better Charlotte team that we've seen this season. Again, as you mentioned, beating Wake Forest, beating Davidson as well. So a tough setback at home for UNCW. Now some time off for exams, and we'll look ahead to what's ahead a little bit later on. Right now, though, we take a break. Back with our Play of the Week and the Player of the Week next. Stay with us.
Every time it's been way too long. A Corona gets its line. Every time you're not related, but you're definitely family. Every time you meet from across the party. Every time all of us is all we need. And every time your favorite place is more about who than where. A Corona.
Along the coast of North Carolina lies one of the best universities in the Southeast, the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. UNC Wilmington, giving flight to imagination.
Well, this week's Play of the Week, we go back to yesterday and some excitement before the half for UNCW. Let's take a look.
Okaru left side launches a three, and it's good! Well, maybe a little momentum for loses.
The Seahawks struggle until that shot there. Again, heading into the break, Mike Okaru, a big three that beat the buzzer and helped give the Seahawks a little momentum. Certainly they came out with a little bit more passion, some energy to start that second half. Mike Okaru giving us our Play of the Week. As for this week's Player of the Week, the only Seahawk to score in double figures all 4 games that we're recapping here, Marty Linson. Coach, again, really good week for him. Good numbers on the season overall, but for the week, averaged almost 14 points, 62% shooting, 81% for the free throw line. He was surprised yesterday when he missed one, and over 4 rebounds as well. And we talked on the broadcast yesterday, he does such a good job getting position before he gets the ball, and he keeps that ball high, which you don't always see from some of the bigger guys out there.
Yeah, he does a nice job, and obviously he's starting to feel more and more comfortable. I think that when the season started, he was, I don't know, holding the ball too much maybe, when he got it, as opposed to just making quick moves. But now, every time he catches it, he just keeps it high, tries to finish right at the rim. If he can't, then he tries to pass it back out because he has been double teamed lately. That's just, some people have a style. They either double team in the post or they don't, and sometimes they change it up throughout the course of the game, and they have to, adjust to it. And Marty's done a really good job lately.
He's got that European game, the German, and I think that finesse game. Maybe throws off some of the defenders, kind of waiting for the contact to come, and he just shoots it before any contact ever comes.
Yeah, and he does, which is great. And he and Amaje battle every day at practice. Those two bodies collide and trying to get close to the basket, and so it's been good for both of them as they progress this year, and we'll hopefully keep on seeing that progress out of both of them.
Yeah, Marty Linson, again, outstanding season so far, I think, for the sophomore. The transfer from Valparaiso's had a nice year. He is this week's Player of the Week. Well, a week off from basketball, but we'll have a week ahead that we'll talk about with games coming up next week. So stay with us. That's straight ahead.
Whoa, that's crisp.
Crisp taste, brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light.
Whoa, that's crisp.
Crisp taste, brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light.
At Papa John's, when it comes to better ingredients, better pizza, we deliver. And now we're delivering extra value too.
When the Seahawks win, you win. Get 50% off your online order the day after a Seahawks men's or women's victory with code Seahawks.
At Papa John's, when it comes to better ingredients, better pizza, we deliver. And now we're delivering extra value too.
When the Seahawks win, you win. Get 50% off your online order the day after a Seahawks men's or women's victory with code Seahawks.
Along the coast of North Carolina lies one of the best universities in the Southeast, the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. UNC Wilmington, giving flight to imagination.
Well, again, for UNCW, a chance to catch your breath and also a chance to concentrate on studies. No games this week for the Seahawks, but we take a look at our Papa John's schedule, our look ahead, and it's not until the following Monday, December 16th against Mercer at 7 o'clock, and then December 21st and Vanderbilt, that will be at 8 o'clock. So, Coach, you're down to your final two non-conference games here. How quick that has come when you have the 10 games, November and that December 1st game at Stanford as well. So it really slows down, obviously, this week and the next couple weeks for you.
Yeah, and every year's sort of like that because of finals. You know, we want to give the guys as much opportunity as we can for time to study so they're not really tired from practice. So we'll take a couple days off here and there this week based around their final schedule. Some have heavy loads on Tuesday and Wednesday. Some have some tomorrow, but you know, they'll all be done by the time we get on the road for Vanderbilt, which will be nice. And obviously before we play Mercer. And so we'll start focusing on Mercer later in the week when their brains aren't as fried. But we will concentrate on UNCW for the days before then.
And Mercer is that return trip the Seahawks went to Macon, Georgia last year, kind of part of a homecoming for Devontae Kaycock, the Georgia product, and a chance to get them back, a chance to get a little revenge as well against them.
Yeah, you know, I haven't seen any Mercer stuff yet. Obviously, last night after our game, I just watched our game again to see, you know, what kind of corrections we need to make, where we're missing the shots. But yeah, we'll obviously focus on Mercer and you know, hopefully play a lot better, and obviously need to start the game a lot better than we had the last few.
So again, that is not tomorrow. That is next Monday, December 16th. The Seahawks host Mercer at 7 o'clock. Then it's on the road to Nashville, Tennessee, UNCW Vanderbilt, December 21st. That will be at 8 o'clock. We'll have that for you on the broadcast. So, Coach, best of luck here this week. A little time for you to kind of relax a little bit, but then get these kids back on the court after exams.
Yep, sounds great, Mike. Thank you.
All right, no show next week. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Another TV show here. Thanks for joining us here today.
The CB McGrath Show is brought to you by your Carolina Ford dealers, Papa John's, Adams Beverage, Harris Teeter, Coastal Beverage, and Reed's Jewelers.